France's military operation battling jihadists in the Sahel region or West Africa is coming to an end. French President Emmanuel Macron made the announcement Thursday saying that soldiers will operate as part of broader international efforts in the region.
France's troop reduction in the Sahel comes just days after Malian Army Colonel Assimi Goïta took power after overthrowing his second president in 9 months. The former colonial power has been part of the French Operation Barkhane, focused on curbing insurgencies in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. It has claimed some success, but the situation remains extremely fragile. And with no apparent end in sight, President Emmanuel Macron feels time has come for an overhaul.
We will initiate a profound transformation of our military presence in the Sahel, the modalities and timetable of which will be specified in the coming weeks, and I will do so by the end of June. But I will initiate this work in the coming days.
France first intervened in 2013, with more than 5,000 soldiers spread across the region. Over time, it has lost some 55 soldiers, and political turmoil in the Sahel has been a concern. Operation Barkhane has become increasingly unpopular in France. The latest changes could be a message from Macron to his people, according to critics.
This transformation will result in a change of model. It will involve the transition to a new framework. That is to say, the end of Operation Barkhane as an external operation to allow for an operation of support and cooperation to the armies of the countries of the region that wish to do so, and the implementation of a military operation and international alliance associating the states of the region and all our partners strictly focused on the fight against terrorism.
That's after consultations with the United States, European nations involved in the region, and the G5 Sahel countries. Chamrono, CGTN.
Let's delve deeper into this. We have CGTN's Ross Cullen joining us live from Paris. Ross, welcome to Africa Live. Let's start with what's going on the ground. Tell us about the motivation and timing of this big announcement. Ross.
Oh, Richard, this is not a surprise. If we go back to 2020, the G5 summit that was held here in France, hosted by Emmanuel Macron, he laid the groundwork there for saying that this is not a mission that will go on forever. We do want to pull out at some point. And then we go back to February this year when Emmanuel Macron said that there will be, in the short or middle term, an evolution of France's military presence in the region. And that evolution, Richard, is an end to Operation Barkhane. The operation began in 2014, 7 years ago, but it came after France had initially engaged in Mali the year before in 2013 to prevent the capital, Bamako, falling to Islamist rebels. That was Operation Serval. That ended, and in 2014, Operation Barkhane was put in place, a major military mission, 5,000 troops spread across the 5 G5 countries, Mauritania, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Chad. Fighter jets, special forces, helicopters, armoured personnel carriers. We're now going to await further details from Emmanuel Macron about the drawdown of all that military infrastructure. But in this statement, Richard, the French president saying that we have not been able to secure certain areas in the Sahel, Southern Sahara greater region because they have fallen back into instability due to the fact that the sovereign states, and he's pointing the finger at those 5 countries, have not fulfilled their responsibilities. It's impossible, or otherwise it would be a job without an end. He says that we are going to put in place a profound transformation of our military presence. We're going to change our model, and that model is going to be changing into an operation that is focused more on cooperation and backup.
All right. Now, Ross, to your point, it has been 8 years of French troop involvement in the counterterrorism operation in the Sahel, with nearly 55 French troops lost. How has the latest decision been received in France, and how does this affect the president politically?
Well, the president made specific reference to that in his statement, saying that we have lost lots of our soldiers, and I do think deeply about them and their families at this time. But we have arrived now at a moment, the time has come when we do need to put in place an end game to Operation Barkhane. Richard, we do have to bear in mind now we are only 10 months out from the next presidential election here in France. Any major political announcement that we do see in the coming months must be read in the context of that coming election. And as we did hear earlier in the report, the idea of returning the troops, bringing the soldiers back home, does tend to play favourably with the public. Also, this is important, the timing, because it comes as Emmanuel Macron heads to the G7 for meetings with other world leaders, including the new US President Joe Biden. And the two men, while they will be discussing the greater issues of climate change and also fairer tax and an equitable recovery from the pandemic, they will also have discussions about troop drawdowns, because we do know that the United States wants to withdraw all its soldiers from Afghanistan by the middle of September, and now French President Emmanuel Macron announcing his own withdrawal of French troops from West Africa. So we did hear this morning as well from the French Defence Minister, maybe reassuring some of those states that it won't be a sudden emptying of all French infrastructure in the area, saying that there will still be a significant French military presence in the Sahel after the conclusion of Operation Barkhane.
All right, thanks so much, Ross Cullen, reporting from Paris. And now, joining us live via Zoom from Bamako is Fahi Rahman Rodriguez Kone, a senior researcher on the Sahel at the Institute for Security Studies. Mr. Kone, how do you see this impacting the counter-terror efforts in the Sahel?
Well, this decision, I think, is an important one. In fact, French troops are active in the region, and they are a key actors for the broadside non-military counterterrorism dispositive mechanism. And this decision could have an impact on the region, on the evolution of this security disposition. But it must be mentioned that it's not the first time that French authorities are reshuffling their disposition in the region, because Barkhane itself, the current operation, is a result of the old first operation in 2012 Operation Sahel. So they try to reshuffle the strategy, linking to the internal challenges and also links to the situation of the evolution and relation in international relations. So it could have an impact, but it's now very difficult to see what will be the specific impact yet now.
Mr. Kone, France tried many times to get other superpowers and regional Western powers to give more support to the Sahel counterterrorism operation without success. Why do you think this is so? And will this decision now inspire others to step into the void left by French troops?
This decision could rather be a way for French government to push more pressure on its counterpart. French government is facing an increasing internal pressure because of the financial and political cost of this operation. Barkhane costs more than €1 billion per year. And next year, there will be presidential election, and this operation is quite unpopular with the French people. A collective support of this operation could give more legitimacy and credit. So they are pushing. I think this is a way to put pressure on the counterpart, which we promise to contribute to the situation. It's to give more pressure and call for more support.
All right. And one more question, Mr. Kone, if you would indulge me. What's your assessment of the successes of the French Operation Barkhane in the Sahel?
I can say this, the success is relative. French troops have indeed highly contributed to contain the violent extremism expansion in the southern part of Mali at its beginnings. But since 2017, trends show that there are more and more violent incidents in the region. The effectiveness of this operation can be questioned. So now the reorganization of the situation, we will see if there will be more and more incidents, but it's something very important. But for the time being, the effectiveness of these troops is relative, as I said.
All right, let's leave it there. Fahi Rahman Rodriguez Kone, thank you for your insights and sharing your perspective. We appreciate it.